Just a few people in queue. So hi, welcome to Shadowbringers. Starting at Mordona in the Rising Stones. This is Final Fantasy's newest expansion. Good news, Chloe. We've had a stroke of luck in our search for that beacon. Apparently our colleagues have stumbled across a hidden path leading down into the hollows around the base of the Crystal Tower. A path I doubt we'd ever have found had the Ironworks and the Suns not added their numbers to the party. Thanks to them, we have eager eyes aplenty down there, checking under rocks and peering into every nook and cranny. Still, it sounds like there's a lot of ground to cover. Well, then we'd better go and give them a hand. Or it sounds like a lot of tedious work, but not as tedious as waiting around, I suppose. My thoughts exactly. The sooner we find this beacon, the sooner we can travel to wherever it is this mysterious voice is coming from. And the sooner we can work out how to help our friends. We have to find a way to wake them up, and before the Empire comes calling again, meaning we have no time to lose. There's a boat in North Silvertier waiting to ferry people to the site, so let's be on our way. Right, so I am Chloe, and in this main storyline, we're probably going to be able to level up from 70 to 80. We have 2 new jobs, Dancer, DPS, and Gunbreaker, Tank. And here he is, and I do not plan on reading every single thing that people say, but I will for now. Saint Quinash Ferryman. Heading to the survey site. Let's go.
Look how many people there are! Should we get to it then? Pick up anything that seems the least bit device-like, and we'll make ourselves a pile.
Well, if it isn't the hero of the hour, maybe you'll change our look. We've found bugger all without you.
Biggs! Wedge!
Aye, aye. Well, we could hardly say no to a call for aid from the Scions. Jesse called it the chief of some other business. So we'll be working twice as hard to make up for his not being here.
Thrice as hard, even.
Thank you, both of you. I'm sure we'll find that beacon in no time.
I'm not seeing anything out here. Do you reckon you could squeeze in there, Wedge?
And get stuck halfway? No, thank you.
I could try if you like.
Tataru, no! We couldn't ask you to do that.
Oh, I'll be fine. This receptionist is not afraid to get her hands dirty.
Sorry, I meant to say, the scholars haven't finished their preliminary assessment of the site yet, so we're not supposed to venture too far in. What's that you got there? Now that looks promising.
Isn't that the Ironworks symbol? Counterfeiters?
Now I have you.
You are right.
What's happening?
Stay with me. Focus on my voice. Let expanse contract. Eon become instant.
Wait, this must be it. The device. Oh, this is supposed to happen.
Throw wide the gates that we may pass.
Safe journey, warrior of light. Find our friends and bring them home.
Oh, do not look at me so.
You're slaves to a tyrant! There's no freedom in that!
This is one battle you cannot fight. Away with you!
Say your spirited accounts of these cars.
We did everything right! Everything that was asked of us, and still it came to this!
Your time has not yet come.
From endless dreams I awake. Something vague, yet urgent, calls me to action once more.
Rare to meet someone out here who's not a peddler themselves. What brings you into the wilds this time of night? Well, if it ain't the oldest joke in the book. Me granddad, God rest his soul, used to tell that one to the barman at kicking out time. And when, pray tell, did we last have a dark night? You rotten old drunk, you, he'd reply.
Yeah.
Over 100 bleeding years ago, that's when. You got that look down to a T. I'd almost think you meant it. Ah, got to you, did they? Poor beggar. That explains it then. Well, I've roads to travel and wares to sell, but you'd best hurry along to the town nearby. Just head east through the trees and aim for the Shining Tower. You'll find the place soon enough. 'Tis the biggest settlement for malms around. Go on now, friend. They'll take good care of you in the Crystarium.
Dizzying heights it rises, the gleaming spire, its tip threatening to pierce the blinding canopy. There, it will all begin anew, between dark and light, the pure and the corrupt, the one true struggle.
Have no Chocobo. We have lost a lot of our abilities, so we'll have to learn those again. I guess I'm walking. We're all gonna have a new slight learning curve since we all have new abilities. Or lost abilities.
Halt!
Super pretty here. Here's our bunny people.
Every face in this city I know. Yours, I do not. This is the threshold of the Crystarium, stranger, and I am its gatekeeper. If you would enter, you will answer my questions. From where do you hail?
The source. Britannia.
Do you take me for a fool? No such place exists.
Just wrong.
Had you given me an honest answer, I would not have barred your way. We care little here for a person's place of origin. But instead, you chose concealment. And I will not suffer you to pass.
Game over.
That one had eaten. It must have gulped down the whole hand, ring and all.
Well, that's a little disturbing. We're not gonna look for body parts, are we? That's too bad.
Everything all right, Captain?
Quite all right, my lord. Just a stray sin eater, and a weak one.
I see. Weak or not, we should be on the lookout for more. But I see you've met my guest. I will escort her to the Crystarium myself, if you've no objections.
Another of your mysterious friends, is it? I should have known. Very well. I'll inform the others your guest is to be given the run of the city.
Nice.
Pray forgive my less than cordial welcome. May the rest of your stay with us be a pleasant one.
Come with me. I will answer whatever questions you have when we are somewhere more private. Right then, before we plunge into the wheres and wherefores, let me first thank you for answering my summons. I had intended to bring you directly to my personal quarters, but I fear my aim was slightly off. That you are still able to make the crossing unharmed is a great relief. And so, we come to the question of where. The realm in which you now find yourself belongs to one of the 13 reflections, or shards. The first, to be precise, even if its inhabitants are largely oblivious to the fact. As to wherefore, having been awarded the rather grandiose title of Crystal Exarch, I, in my capacity as caretaker of the Crystarium, thought to seek the aid of you and your companions. That is a question with no simple answer. But all shall be explained in due course, I promise you. Let us begin with the glaring skies up above. Here in the first, the world has been all but consumed by primordial light. It began a century ago, by this realm's reckoning. A luminous flood swallowing everything in its path. More than 9/10 of this star was lost. And the fortunate few who survived are hounded by abominations born of that catastrophe even now. Sin Eaters, we call them. The creature you saw earlier was one such monstrosity. It was to save the first from this menace that I learned to bridge the rift between worlds. That I might call upon the aid of the greatest of heroes. And though it meant depriving a world of its champion, I had to try, for in saving the first, you would bring salvation to the source as well. But what manner of host harangues his guests in the middle of the road? Let us continue our talk within the Crystarium.
a proud and vibrant city. The sole sanctuary for the living in a world all but resigned to oblivion. Each stone was laid with hope. The town itself a symbol, a monument to defiance in the face of death. No would-be hero could fail to answer its call. For who among us does not yearn for salvation?
Ooh, people. White Oak Weapon Coffer and Shadowbringers Orchestration Roll. Gear Coffer. Now a full and frank discussion in the privacy of my city would seem to be in order. But I think our conversation would be more meaningful. Read first to gain a firmer grasp of the situation here. To that end, I would like you to visit a few of the Crystarium's civic leaders and glean something of this world and its predicament. As you can see, the path will take you directly to the Aetheryte, a convenience with which I'm sure you are only too familiar. Being the rightful object of my summoning spell, you should, in theory, be able to reach all the way back along your etheric trail and find a connection in the source, believe it or not. I strongly suggest you complete this attunement before venturing any further. After you've done so, walk up the steps next to Aetheryte and head out to the left to arrive in the Crystalline Mean. This is where you'll find our collective of crafters and gatherers, as well as their spokeswoman, Catlis, one of the people I should like you to meet. Another is Morin. To reach him and his Cabinet of Curiosity, you'll want to avoid the aforementioned steps. Take the exit on the left and simply continue straight along down until you come to the large doors at the end of the path. The third and final person I should like you to meet is Bragi, our man in charge of trade and distribution. He is to be found in the markets, which you can access on the opposite side of the Aetheryte Plaza. In seeking out each of my colleagues, you'll visit the major districts of the city and hopefully gain a feel for the place. I trust my directions were simple enough. Crystal. Very good. I concede the layout of the Crystarium owes more to historic necessity than planning, but I'm sure you'll learn its twists and turns before long. In all honesty, the true challenge may be in finding the right way to approach its citizens. As you discover during your encounter with the captain, the people of this world are unaware of the existence of other stars, and will struggle to accept the truth of your origin. That being the case, when they ask whence you hail, as they inevitably will, I suggest you claim to share a homeland with the Crystal Exarch. There is an unspoken rule here about peering too deeply into that particular mystery. When you finish making the rounds, meet me in the large courtyard, center of town. Until then, see ya. Oh, look! It's a Power Ranger. Yep. Let's go up. Got our mender. We've got friends. We've got our outdoor bar. More friends. We see fish. Rare to see a place so well stocked with goods, isn't it? But not here. Hey, Catless. Yes, I am new. Well, for what it's worth, you've chosen to find sanctuary. The Exarch can throw up a barrier if the Sin Eaters come knocking, so it's a damn sight safer in here than it is out there. Safer, more civilized too, thanks to us and the mean we work together to procure materials and resources and craft the goods which makes city life possible. This is the place to visit if you need a coat mended or a kettle forged. Just don't go thinking it'll all be handed to you on a plate like those Yulmoran layabouts. Here in the Crystarium, we work for a living. Though I see you're no stranger to honest labor, you don't have that whiff of indolence about you that some folk I've met. Still, I can't quite pin down your profession. Where is it you're from? Yeah. Exarch. Countryman. Friend. Yeah. Well, then I'll work twice as hard to make you feel welcome. Our city wouldn't even exist if it weren't for him, and any friend of his is a friend of ours. Why must you always look at this? It's incredible when you think about it. They say his grand magic summoned the Crystal Tower into existence, pulled the entire thing out of thin air. It wasn't long before droves of refugees began congregating around its base, desperate for shelter after losing their homes to the flood. And that's how the Crystarium began, at the Exarch's invitation. Buildings started going up, and with the help of some curious relics brought forth from the tower, the place gradually expanded into the thriving metropolis you see today. The city's stood here for decades now, yet the eldest among us swear the Exarch looks exactly the same as he did back then. He is indeed a man of many mysteries, but for all his secrecy, he has never let us down yet. So if he and you wish to remain silent about your shared homeland, then the folk here will respect your wish for privacy. I am, however, more than a little curious to see any crafting talent you might be hiding. If you've aught to contribute on that front, be sure to come back and visit once you've had a chance to settle in. Just ask for Catless, and I'll find you a niche here in the crystalline mean. You can help us keep the cogs of the city greased and turning. Your exchange with Katniss has taught you about life in the Crystarium. Indeed. Let's go learn more stuff. Ah, Morn. Excuse me, miss. Are you recently come to the city perchance? I'm quite familiar with our civic roles, you see, and, it's like Sephiroth from behind. Well, what I mean to ask is, have you brought any books with you? A rumpled scroll, even? A scrap of scribbled on parchment? Wow. My apologies. Literature is something of an obsession of mine, as well as profession. Librarian Morn at your service, and this humble collection is known as the Cabinet of Curiosity. As your powers of perception have likely informed you, my colleagues and I are responsible for curating all manner of tomes, documents, and other vehicles for the written word. Feel free to mute my voice so you can read this yourself. As horrific as the loss of life and land wrought by the flood unquestionably was, the damage to the recorded the recorded knowledge was no less catastrophic. We few do all we can to preserve that wisdom survived. It is like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I have to get up in a couple of hours to go do work. But anyway, tell me, what brings you to the cabinet today, looking for any title in particular, mayhap a spot of academic research? Oh, so you've an interest in modern history. Splendid! Thorough review of recent events can often yield novel perspectives. I quite agree. If you prefer something visual to accompany the account, then I think I have an illustrated history book for children somewhere. Dude, whoa! It's a little mean. Just a moment and I'll fetch it. Dude, I can read. Probably. It's probably the same language, I would guess. Do I look dumb? And here we are. Would you like to pull up a chair and make yourself more comfortable? On with the lesson then. Just so thirsty. A 100 years ago, or near enough not to matter, villains known as the Warriors of Light slew the Shadowkeeper, the Steward of Darkness. In the wake of this tainted deed, light began to pour into the world as if from unseen cracks. It pooled and swelled without cease until the day an enormous, blinding wave rose up and swept across our star. We called this calamity the Flood of Light. Everything it touched was leached of life and vigor, leaving naught behind but a luminous wasteland. Yet just when it seemed that all would be lost, a savior appeared before us. The Oracle of Light, she stood twixt us and approaching doom, and by her power did she stay the flood. Thus was Norvrant, and Norvrant alone spared the fate of erasure. Tragedy would, however, arrive in another form. From the blasted emptiness descended horrors of strange and terrible aspect to bedevil the few folk who survived. These sin-eaters were light incarnate, and their fulgent presence stole the night from Norvrant's sky. Even now they circle the remaining bastions of civilization, ever on the hunt for us, ever hungering for our flesh. And thus did the world become what it is. Should you ever wish to hear the tale again, I'd be glad to retell it for you. Or, if you'd rather I speak of other matters, that too would be my pleasure. I should be glad for the company. I have learned Flood of Light. Woo. Can I jump? Ah! Braggy. Oh, it's a kitty. New to the city, friend, the spinning head and wide eyes give you away. Welcome, my name is Braggy, and I'm the master of these markets. They gave the district another official title, but I'm not in the habit of using it, too floored by half. In any case, our merchants stock a range of equipment for drawn such as yourself, so finding something in your size shouldn't be a problem. On Aura? You say drawn? This so FF11 talk. Hi, something wrong? No. Let's see if we can straighten this out. See those two in front of us? The shorter one is a hume. The taller one is an elf. Why is he saying this to me? That sturdy individual there is a galgant, while the one with the horns is a drawn like you. That's a little weird that he's talking to me like this. And then you have the large, scaly chaps with long tails and a knack for raising livestock, and that would be Zun. It's like you're making me learn this game all over again. So, apparently, not the name you know them by, and I'm curious to know which far-flung region you hail from. Ah, same as XRJ, well that explains it. You don't get much further flung than that. We've had a few of your lot pass through in recent years, and despite their obvious learning, they floundered over the simplest of things. But not to worry, should you find yourself confused by the local language or customs, I'll be here to answer your questions. He has taught you the peoples of the first. How do they know they're the first? I'll take a moment to look around, just trying to do before. Slides! Oh, if only. So many people. I just want to climb this. Excuse me. Oh, no! Okay. I'm done. How'd you fare? Oh. I do have stuff. Paper. You've been through the introduction. I understand it was something of a chore, but it wasn't necessary that you grasp these things before we proceed. As for the Crystal Tower's origin, you may have noted that details are sparse. The structure is, in fact, the self-same one you know from the source. Transported to the first in its entirety, it was my first attempt at breaching the boundaries between worlds. Something of a trial run for your eventual crossing, and although I do not know which era I tore it from, I do know that its arrival served to set the wheels of fate in motion. Oh, look at gear! Free gear! I'd say I shouldn't open it, but I don't care. Oh. 385 body piece. Let's try it on. It's pretty good looking. Pretty cute. We need pants. You've done as requested. Let's learn something of the world in which you find yourself. Now it's time to fulfill my half of the bargain, explain what has befallen your comrades. That is a conversation I'd rather have in the privacy of my quarters. However, I must go on ahead to the tower and organize a few things. Pick up my clothes, but I shall see that the guard knows to admit you. And just like that, then, gaha, tia, it is. Tower's gate lies open. Take a key, bring him out. Yes, it opens and closes, just like any other place. Does that seem strange to you? I know not how the tower functioned in your time, but I assure you there is no danger of us being locked inside. Alrighty. Let's go! Nice big stairs here. Oh, it's from Ottawa. Stop. People. Greetings. Let's go.
Welcome to the Ocular, my private study. We can speak here without fear of being overheard. I have much to explain, but the truths which I must touch upon in doing so would cause only distress and confusion to the people of this world. Pray keep that in mind. Now, I am sure you are desperate to know the fate of your fellow Scions. To put it simply, they are here in the First. Their arrival, however, was not as recent as you may imagine. Here, time flows at a different pace from that of the Source. In the space of a single hour in your home world, an entire year might pass in the First, and the reverse could also be true. The pace fluctuates without rhyme or reason, and it cannot be predicted. That said, we seem to be entering a period of near equivalence, and thus, for the moment, you need not overly concern yourself with the passage of time. As for your companions, however, Y'shtola and Urianger have dwelled here for 3 winters, all told, while Thancred's count stands at 5. Even our more recent arrivals, Alphino and Alizé, have lived in the First for almost a year. My intention had been to summon only you, but the art of reaching across worlds has proven exceedingly difficult to master. Thus it was that my fumbling hand closed upon those to whom your fate is most closely bound as well. As they were not the object of my summons, their transference was incomplete. Though they may appear to possess corporeal bodies, they are, in truth, merely spirits that one can see and touch. Consequently, while you yourself will be able to pass between worlds with relative freedom, they will not. Much as it grieves me, they are stranded here, unable to return. We spent every waking hour searching for a way to reverse the summoning. In the beginning, at least. As you may have surmised, however, our efforts met with little success. And then we all but abandoned the endeavor once Urianger shared with us the vision he had witnessed during his journey through the rift. In that chaotic no-man's land between realms, time and space warp and blend in unexpected ways. What Urianger saw was the future. That which would one day come to pass. In his vision of tomorrow, the First was rejoined with the Source. This collision of worlds brought about the 8th umbral calamity and the deaths of countless multitudes. Amongst those who perished, Urianger clearly saw the fall of the Scion's mightiest champion. He watched you die. And thus did the Scions embrace their exile, and began searching this world for a means to forestall the coming catastrophe in yours. Their souls are stranded in the First, yes, but they have fought on, desperate to save their home and you from destruction. Nor have their efforts been in vain, for it was they who finally established that the elimination of the Sin Eaters will indeed serve to prevent the calamity. Considering these circumstances of our meeting, you would be forgiven for doubting my version of events. And so, before all else, I would suggest you track down your comrades and hear the tale from their lips. I shall of course be happy to assist in these reunions, and you need not make any decisions regarding your involvement until you are certain of where you stand. Meanwhile, I promise I will not rest until I have found a way to help your friends return home. What say you? Have I earned your trust for the moment, at least? Excellent. You will not regret this. With that settled, we shall have to see about getting you ready for the road. Traveling across the rift has no doubt left you weary. I will arrange for a room where you might rest in comfort. While it's being prepared, perhaps I can show you around.
The Crystarium boasts a number of residential districts, but I've been informed that a room has become available at the Pendants, which, as it turns out, is perfect. Our paths there will take us past the markets, and I was hoping to give my own introduction to their wares. Come along.
This is the Musica Universalis, the commercial heart of the Crystarium. Ah, yes. You must be curious about the currency. Fear not. The gil you carry will serve you well enough. Each nation once minted its own coins, but 'twas all a jumbled mess following the flood. After much debate, the local merchants eventually elected to revert to the old ways, wherein a coin's value was decided by the worth of its metal. As for a unit of measurement, we agreed upon the term gil, a word borrowed from coins uncovered within the Crystal Tower here. And as our traders peddled their wares across the land, so too did our usage of gil become common practice. From what your stola tells me, a standard coin from the source equates to exactly 1 gil here, or near enough not to matter. Our way of life has benefited greatly from the artifacts we recovered from the tower, some of which may be familiar to you. But I fear it would not be practical for us to provide everything to which you are accustomed. You shall need a means to access the commodities of your homeworld. Avan Kerm Sin?
Yes, I'm here! Of course I'm here! What amusements do you have for me today?
My dear Feo Ul, paragon of pixie kind. For you, I have the most vital task. This fine lady is a friend from a distant realm, and we have need of a means to ferry things back and forth from her home. Might you be able to assist us in this matter?
You came from beyond, didn't you? From beyond the rift? How wonderfully exciting! What a brave and reckless and marvelous thing you did! You've the heart of a pixie, you do. After careful consideration, I have decided to grant you my assistance. Make a pact with me and the fun can begin. But answer me this, traveller. Did your garments come with you when you crossed over? Your teeth? Your nails?
She kind of sounds like a drunken leprechaun.
Just as I thought! Then you've a good stout connection with your home through which all your belongings, great and small, may easily pass. From this moment forth I will be your isne fis, and you my snay yak. Like the branch which sprouts from the sapling, our bond will flow unbroken from one to the other.
Yeah.
Raise your hand.
It's definitely Irish.
Tis done. We are bound now, dearest sapling. Come then. Make your request. Tell me your desire. I wish to visit this world of yours.
Mayhap a message to your friends in the Source to inform them of your safe arrival.
Consider it done.
As you heard, that was Feo Ool of the Pixies. Their kind possess an affinity for magic akin to that of arcane beings. They rarely show themselves in populated areas, but Feo is insatiably curious even by Pixie standards, and seems to have taken a liking to the Crystarium. Right, we were going to organize a room for you, weren't we? Come along.
That said, we have access to everything. Market boards, summoning bells, etc. There you are, just finishing them out of your accommodations. When you're ready to retire, the men will show you to your lodgings, rest, recuperate. That covers everything. And thank you for answering my call. We are denied the comforting blanket of night, but may peaceful dreams attend you nonetheless. Retire to our quarters, I guess. We are quite tired. All of our stuff is here. Everything looks good. Ready to play FF14 in a different setting. You.
I know you. You're the warrior of light from the Source.
Feel like we should lie. Wait. You're the warrior of darkness.
What? Did you just... You can hear me? Oh, gods, how long has it been? That was what I called myself in your world. The Warrior of Darkness. My real name is Ardbert. I used an alias in the source. A daft one, looking back.
Ardbert?
If you recall my tale, it was my comrades and I who caused the flood. We thought our home doomed. And so we listened to the Ascians. Let them guide us to the source, and try to hasten their goddamned ardor. I remember when we fell, defeated by you and yours. I remember our audience with Minfilia, how she listened to our pleas and returned our souls to the First. The flood was poised to swallow Norvrant. Minfilia and my friends, they surrendered what little they had left to hold it back. Just faded away, leaving me to bear witness. Tell me, do you know the year? How much time has passed since we caused the flood? 100 years. My hands find no purchase. My gestures catch no eye, and my pleas, be they whispered or screamed, reach not a single ear. I am a shade, cursed to do naught but drift. I feel as if I've been walking forever. I hardly noticed when my mind and body began to fray at the edges. Bang! My senses were sharp again. I felt like a fish being reeled in, and before I knew it, I found myself in this room. Why is it that you can see me? What are you even doing here, come to that? You were summoned to save the First. A waste of time. This world is beyond saving, like those who tried to save it. Muddled as my mind may be, I've not forgotten that. But if fate has brought me to you, the one person in this God's-forsaken world who can see and hear me, then perhaps there is a reason I endured. If I can find out why I was left behind, then maybe I can bring this journey of mine to an end. Well, I'll be watching, Warrior of Light. But do me a favor. Be careful out there. This world has had its fill of heroes.